Have you ever wondered what drives an angel to abandon heaven for love? Get ready to dive into a tale that blends forbidden passion, celestial betrayal, and punishments that still echo today. Picture perfect beings created to serve God, gazing down at earth and feeling something they were never meant to feel: desire. These human wives, enchanted by fallen angels, paid a terrible price for this impossible love. And their children, the Nephilim, giants who shook the world, faced divine wrath in a flood that changed everything. Stick with me to find out how the Archangel Michael stepped in, what happened to these brave women, and why their souls still resonate in our legends as mermaids. Let's rewind to the beginning, up in heaven, where everything was perfect. Angels, crafted to praise and obey God, spent their days in harmony, singing hymns that rang through the universe, keeping divine order. They were beings of light, immune to human weaknesses, or so it was thought. But something shifted. One day, some of these angels looked down at earth and saw human women. They weren't just beautiful, there was something about them, a vitality, a charming imperfection that the angels had never seen in heaven. It was as if humanity had a flame that celestial brilliance couldn't match. And that flame started burning inside them, a desire that shouldn't have existed. Before we go on, if you love epic stories like this, blending the divine and the human, do yourself a favor. Subscribe to the channel now. We post incredible content every week that'll broaden your view of these ancient tales. Hit that button and join us for more. Now, picture heaven as a place of strict rules. Angels had a clear purpose: serve God, protect creation, maintain balance. But that glance at earth changed everything. These angels, who'd watched stars being born and galaxies forming, began to question. What if we could feel what humans feel? What if their love was more real than our obedience? These questions were dangerous, like cracks in a dam about to burst. At first, it was just a few whispers among them, but the desire grew, and with it, the temptation to ditch everything. Down on earth, life rolled on simply. Women worked the fields, laughed with their kids, tended their homes. They had no clue that up above, celestial beings were watching them with hungry eyes. These women weren't perfect like the angels, but they had something that drew them in: humanity. And then, the unthinkable happened. Some angels decided to descend. It wasn't a rash fall, it was a deliberate choice. They traded their wings of light for earthly bodies, appearing among humans as men of impossible beauty. Their eyes glowed encampment like stars, their voices sounded like melodies, and their presence made the air hum. When they arrived, the impact was instant. Imagine you're living your everyday life and suddenly a stunning being shows up. It wasn't just their looks, it was the power, the mystery. The women who saw them didn't stand a chance. It was like the angels knew exactly what to say, how to touch their hearts. And these women, spellbound, fell in love. This wasn't ordinary passion. It was something deep, almost magical. The fallen angels picked the most beautiful, the most vibrant, and wooed them with promises no mortal man could keep. Marriages were made, unions that should never have existed, and heaven felt the tremor of these sins. But that love came at a cost. From these unions came the Nephilim, kids who weren't fully human or angelic, but something in between. They were giants, with strength beyond imagining. A Nephilim could hoist a tree with one hand, smash a wall with a punch. Their eyes carried the gleam of their angel fathers, but their hearts were wild, full of their mother's human passions. They weren't just big, they were dangerous. Whole villages shook when a Nephilim walked by. Their appetites were endless, their tempers destructive. The world, which God had crafted so carefully, began to crumble under the weight of these creatures. Up in heaven, God watched it all. His perfect creation was being corrupted. The humans he loved were living in fear. The angels he trusted had betrayed him. And the Nephilim, the fruit of this mistake, were an insult to divine order. God's patience ran out. He summoned his archangels, Michael, Gabriel, and the rest, and gave a clear order. This had to stop, but the Nephilim were too powerful, even for celestial warriors. Even Michael, the mightiest of them, knew fighting these giants would be like facing a living storm. So God decided on something bigger, a flood to wash all the evil from the earth. The rain started as a warning, heavy drops falling from the sky, but it soon turned into a deluge. The heavens opened, and water poured relentlessly, day after day. The Nephilim, who once seemed invincible, now faced something they couldn't fight. They climbed mountains, roared against the waves, but the water rose higher, swallowing everything. The fallen angels, trapped in their earthly bodies, watched helplessly as their children were swept away. The human wives screamed, clutching the remnants of their lives, but nothing could stop divine judgment. Amid the chaos, an ark floated, Noah's. It was the only refuge carrying the few God details God chose to save. Outside it, the world sank. The Nephilim, so mighty, drowned like any mortal. The cities the fallen angels helped build vanished under the waves. When the rain stopped, after 40 days and 40 nights, the earth was an endless sea. Everything the Nephilim touched, everything the fallen angels dreamed of, was wiped out. But the punishment didn't end there. The wives of the fallen angels survived, but their fate was grim. Their husbands, now bound in spiritual prisons, couldn't protect them anymore. Some, like Nama, held their pride, refusing to repent. Others broke under the guilt, knowing their love had helped destroy the world. In his justice, God turned them into mermaids, beautiful but cursed. They'd sing forever, luring sailors to their doom, an echo of the desire that led to their ruin. Their husbands, chained, felt every note of their songs, every cry of their broken hearts, but were powerless. The faithful angels, like Michael, got a new job, watching over the rebuilt world. They learned some lines can't be crossed. The earth was reborn, but the flood's scars lingered. And the mermaids, those once human wives, still haunt our tales. A reminder of what happens when heaven and earth mix in forbidden ways. If this story gripped you, don't miss the next chapter. Click the video popping up on your screen now. You'll uncover an epic showdown between Michael and Lucifer over Moses' body, a battle so wild it's been hidden for centuries. Don't miss out. Heaven was never the same after those angels chose earth. Their decision didn't just crack celestial harmony, it left deep marks we still feel today. Think about it. Beings who stood by God, who sang as the universe was born, threw it all away for a taste of human love. And the women who welcomed them with open arms? They had no idea what they were unleashing. Their angelic husbands, now called the Fallen, brought chaos to the world. And the Nephilim, their giant offspring, were the most visible result of that rebellion. But the story doesn't end with the flood that swept them away. There's more, a cruel fate for those wives, and a battle that shook even the archangels. Up there, before the fall, angels lived in perfect bliss. They needed nothing beyond divine glory. Their voices filled the sky with praise. Their eyes watched creation unfold. But then, some started looking down. Earth's women, with their simple lives and raw emotions, stood out against celestial order. These angels felt something new, a pull that tugged like a magnet. It wasn't just curiosity. It was a desire growing daily, whispering in their minds, "What if we could live like them?" That thought alone was treason, but they didn't stop there. The choice to descend was slow, deliberate. They shed their forms of light, taking bodies that looked human but carried a supernatural glow. When they stepped onto earth, the ground almost shook with their presence. Imagine meeting someone so perfect, the rest of the world feels faded. Their voices were soft as the breeze, yet heavy enough to mesmerize. The women who met them had no choice. It was like heaven itself had picked them. These fallen angels knew how to charm, how to promise love beyond the mortal. and so marriages were sealed, unions that defied God's laws. From those unions came the Nephilim. They weren't normal babies, they grew fast, becoming giants who towered over the land. Their bodies were mountains of muscle. Their eyes shone with angelic power, but their hearts were human, bursting with untamed passions. They knew no limits. A Nephilim could wreck a forest on a whim, devour whole herds in a day. People feared them like gods, but these giants lacked the wisdom to rule. They destroyed as much as they built, and Earth's balance began to crumble. God, watching from above, saw his creation defiled. The fallen angels had betrayed his trust. The women had given in to the forbidden, and the Nephilim were an abomination. He called Michael and the archangels, heaven's warriors, to plan a response. But the Nephilim were too strong, nearly untouchable. Even celestial armies hesitated. So God made a final call, a flood to erase the mistake. The rain fell like a hammer, merciless, blanketing the world in water. The Nephilim fought, scaling peaks, but nothing saved them. Their fathers, the fallen angels now stuck in frail bodies, could only watch as everything sank. Noah's Ark was the lone speck of hope in that sea of ruin. Inside, the chosen heard the cries of those perishing outside, the wives of the fallen angels. Some clinging to wreckage, others lost to the waves, faced the weight of their choices. When the waters receded, the earth was clean but empty. The Nephilim were just a memory. The fallen angels were chained in dark prisons, and the surviving wives bore crushing guilt. But God wasn't done with them. The wives' punishment was unique. Turned into mermaids, they got eternal beauty, but a cursed kind. Their songs, as sweet as those of the angels they loved, now lured men to death. Nama, one of them, kept her pride even in the curse, leading others with her deadly voice. Others crumbled under despair, their minds shattered by what they'd caused. Their husbands, bound in spiritual chains, felt every wail, every note of their songs, but couldn't reach them. It was double torment for them and their wives. Michael and the loyal angels took charge of the new world. They patrolled the skies, ensuring such rebellion never happened again. The earth healed, but the mermaids stayed, a living echo of the past. Their voices still ripple through the stories we tell, a warning of the cost of crossing sacred lines. The love that started it all, that glance from heaven to earth, proved both a blessing and a curse, shifting the fate of everyone involved. Now, if this epic journey hooked you, don't miss the next chapter. Click the video on your screen right now. You'll uncover the jaw-dropping clash between Michael and Lucifer over Moses' body, a fight so fierce it's been buried for millennia. Don't wait, click and dive into a tale that'll blow you away.